Everybody, Mike Brown from GEMS here with Bob Page in Indianapolis. Wanted to take this opportunity to sit down with him, kind of chat about some things that are new for Bob and what he's bringing to FDIC in 2026. We're very excited to be welcoming him in our very impressive cadre of instructors that we have coming to Indianapolis in 2026 for FDIC, GEMS at FDIC. So, Bob, I'll let you take it off. So introduce yourself for anybody that doesn't know you. There's probably not too many of those people left.
Yeah, I'm Bob Page from Earlysville, Virginia. I'm a clinical educator, and my company is called Edutainment. I teach 12-lead EKG, capnography, and a new course called the Manual Ventilation Academy's High Performance Ventilation Workshop, which we're going to be doing at FDIC.
Yeah. I'm very excited. That's what got all this conversation started. So, on Wednesday, you're going to be giving some classroom sessions. So we've got one that you're talking about simulation in EMS. Can you unpack that classroom session a little bit for what people would expect?
Well, human patient simulation is something that I think is grossly underused in EMS or almost misused because I've been places where I've taken pictures. There's a bunch of mannequins, high fidelity mannequins laying in a pile stacked on top of each other. It's almost like in a junkyard or something. And people have used high fidelity simulation sometimes as a CPR mannequin. Well, simulation is something that can really enhance, and this course talks about the science behind it in adult education. It's more than memorizing things for written tests. It's actually putting your hands on and doing it. Human patient simulation actually enhances the learning because you're actually gives it clinical relevance in what you do, and it's real-time learning. So it engages all of their senses, but what this course talks about is the science behind it. Is that why it's so important for the adult learner to have human patient simulation? And as an example, we use escape rooms that we run with simulation to show them the example of how it can actually work and how it's actually measurable outcomes with the Kirkpatrick criteria.
I love that. I'm really excited for that offering to be coming, and we're going to have it on Wednesday, which is in our EMS educator track. That's going to be at FDIC, so it's going to be an amazing addition to that. And then you're going to be talking about your high performance ventilation course and everything that you're offering there in a shorter classroom session before the workshops get kicked off. So what is that classroom session like?
Well, that's going to be a divulging of the research I've been doing through the Manual Ventilation Academy. Throughout 2025 and 2024, 2025, I did 25 different states with the course, and also 3 Canadian provinces and the Gulf of America / Mexico. We were out there on a cruise ship doing this ventilation course, and through that I collected a lot of data, well over 1,000 participants, tens of thousands of breaths that we actually measured on them. And we have the data. We're writing up a couple of poster presentations that we'll be delivering in December, but I'm also going to be going around on a tour making sure people understand what we found. We have proven that manual ventilation can occur. We have proven that manual ventilation can occur correctly. And we'll also lay out the science behind it, where there's been at least 3 or 4 studies now that show that better ventilation during cardiac arrest leads to better outcomes. One study in particular, the Idris study from 2023, talks about how 60% of people in cardiac arrest are not ventilated adequately. And it's usually hypoventilation, not hyperventilation. But the Idris trial showed that with better ventilation, even with the CCF less of 65%, the outcomes were still better. And so it directly challenged what we've always thought about CCF as being the only game in town. But we found that when ventilations are better, not only is the survival rate 3 times higher, but the neurologically intact survival rate is 4 times higher.
Yeah, which that's obviously what we're wanting, right? I mean, that's that gold standard. That's what everybody wants to achieve, is that neurologically intact survival.
But it's ventilation. How can someone go 5 minutes without getting any breaths? We get what they're saying about CCF, but you can interrupt CPR to give 2 breaths. And so 30 to 2 has always been recommended, and there's a reason for that. CCF, the target is about 80% if you can do that. Well, what we show in the studies, in the ventilation studies, if you stop CPR for 2 breaths, so breath goes in for 1 second, out for 2 seconds. If you stop CPR for just 6 seconds, your CCF is still 90%. And so you're not breaking any rules, but you're definitely getting the breaths in.
Yeah.
And so we have devices and technology now that can actually show you how you're giving the correct ventilations. It's not just technique, that's important, but when you do the technique correctly, you should get feedback to know you're getting the breaths in.
Yeah.
And so that's what we have now, is we have on point technology feedback that tells you that you're getting the correct breaths in. If you're not, you can adjust it, so that way you're not doing the same thing over and over again.
No, that's awesome, and I'm beyond excited to unpack more of that data and, and get a better understanding of it. Yeah,
and like I said, the data is rock solid. I can't wait to deliver it there. It's being wrote up now, but it's just impressive what we can actually accomplish. And I think that's been the missing link, is the ability to measure and see what it is we're supposed to be doing. Yeah. You know, how do you know you're getting correct ventilation unless you measure them? You can't improve what you don't first measure.
Yeah.
And so that's our mantra at the Manual Ventilation Academy, is that we want to let you know. So when you walk out of class, you will know that you can do it correctly. You will know that you ventilated, that you can do this, because the feedback told you and you feel good about it. You did it with your own hands.
Yeah, I love it. It's very exciting. And now let's talk about Thursday, Friday, because for FDIC Thursday, Friday, you've got some really exciting stuff going on. So it's your high performance ventilation workshop Thursday, but there's an addition to that, right?
Yeah, in addition, we're going to do something very special at FDIC. We're going to do a train-to-trainer course for the Manual Ventilation Academy's course. And so I'm trying to select people who really want to do this, who feel passionate like I do, that want to be involved in making this big change and helping people understand how to ventilate better. So we'll be doing an instructor course for part of the day on one day, and then the instructors from there will then help me teach the actual course for FDIC, which we have 2 courses.
Yes.
That you can choose from, because the course is probably going to sell out. So we want to make sure we have the instructors. So we'll take some instructors in the day before, show them the instructor part, and then they'll just come over with me and teach them the provider classes. And then once they do that, then they'll be fully certified to go teach the Manual Ventilation Academy course anywhere they want to.
And then that was what I was so excited about, just to see that type of opportunity, be able to come to FDIC, and from an EMS educator standpoint, to be able to go through the instructor course, and then the very next day be able to get actionable feedback from you. Somebody who I have a tremendous amount of respect for as an EMS educator, and just really excited for people to be able to get that instant feedback on how they're doing, how they're delivering the content, and really sharpening the edge when it comes to their ability to be EMS instructors. So as we started to have those conversations, I just got more and more excited about everything that could be for people that choose to take the course in Indy in 2026.
You know, the FDIC is a great venue for that. There's been some notable fire departments that I've actually done this instructor course at to get started. One is Fort Worth Fire Department. Fort Worth Fire Department, we did an instructor course, and then for the next week we did provider courses, 2 a day. And then when I left, those instructors carried on and ended up training 800 firefighters in high performance ventilation using devices. And then there's Santa Cruz, California did the same thing with their fire department. They brought in Cal Fire and a bunch of others that helped out there as well. And then there's St. George Fire Protection District in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's where I got my instructors from there. They were the first ones to do this, and they've actually adopted it as a service, a department, and using the devices on patients.
Yeah.
And so it spreads really quick through the fire departments. They can understand, because they understand. And that's what we do in the high performance ventilation workshop, is that yes, there's some hands-on, but we also talk about the science. And what I like to tell them is, I'm not going to blind you with science, I'm going to challenge you with common sense. And so, and that resonates.
Yeah,
that resonates,
100%.
Mike, because it resonates, because if people understand something and you give it clinical relevance, then they'll get it.
Oh, yeah.
And see, that's the mantra of adult learning. Yeah. Is that if you can help them understand it, break down the science so they understand what it actually means, and then give them clinical relevance and know they can do the skill, then that's how it comes across. And that's what we do in the class.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'm just so excited. And talk about the you know, the biggest opportunity and the bang for your buck is you can now come to this class and then take that back to your department.
Exactly.
And as you said, continue to spread that good quality education. So
Yeah.
I'm just really excited what's coming in 2026, and I'm so excited to be welcoming you back to Indianapolis in 2026 for FDIC.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's good to be returning to it. But I returned with some amazing classes, and I tell you, this ventilation course, it is a real game changer. Whatever superlative you want to throw at it, I've just seen so many eye-opening experiences for the students. And when I look at the data, I'm like shaking my head saying, we've needed this all along. And the problem has always been is that we didn't have the technology to do the measurement of the ventilations. We went all in on CPR. We had devices tell us we push harder, push faster, get the rate down. But now we have a device that actually measures tidal volume, it actually measures the rate, and it keeps you on track in doing both of those. And so that's been the thing we found. We've studied ventilation from technique-wise all the way through how we actually squeeze the bag, and we've got it down now. We've got it down. We can perfect that skill, and so, but with the feedback you get during class and the instructor's help, it's worthwhile. It really is. You will leave a changed person, and you can't wait to bring it back to your individual service. And the other thing is, when you're done, it just makes sense. It just makes sense.